ready to learn about a very interesting and timely topic? In today's Karista Live, joining us is Melissa Briones, who will provide us with information on how to buy a house with multiple owners from a legal standpoint. She will also be discussing the upcoming changes to the Property Law Act, specifically the Home Buyer Rescission Period, sometimes referred to as a cooling off period mandatory for residential real estate transactions. So make sure to enjoy the show, and we hope you learn a lot today. For joining us today. We already have a comment. Hi, Ricardo. Yes, very interesting topic. Thank you. Thank you. Very timely. Of course, here at Karista Mortgage, we've helped thousands of people use their mortgage to build wealth. And I don't do that by myself. I have a wonderful team doing that with me. And joining me today are, of course, your favorite beautiful, professional, smart mortgage strategy managers. Sheilla Samson is one of them. So Sheila, say hi to our people, please.
Hi everyone! Magandang tanghali po at tama po kayo, napaka-interesting ng topic today. Kaya stay tuned hanggang sa huli.
Carol, welcome.
Magandang malamig na hapon po sa inyong lahat. It's really, we're here in Vancouver.
Yes. Thank you, Carol. And Rachelle, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here today. Today, we have very exciting topics that we're discussing. So, Bernadette's going to go into yung mortgage updates. And of course, with those mortgage updates, there's a lot of challenges, a lot of opportunities to take advantage of. So, that's why we have our wonderful presenter here who will be talking about how to purchase a property with multiple owners and, of course, yung mandatory cooling off period coming up soon. So stay tuned for that.
Yes, and I'm encouraging everyone to please type your questions below dahil sasagutin namin yan at ng aming guest speaker for today ng libre, okay? May libre pa dito sa Canada kasi she's going to give you a legal advice for those questions that you're gonna type in below.
Ayan. And before we bring in Sheila's comments here, hello Jean, hello LV. Thank you for joining us today. It's going to be a wonderful time. Welcome, welcome po.
So, hindi na natin patatagalin. Ay pini-introduce ko po ulit sa inyo si Bernadette Laxamana para i-discuss sa atin ang mortgage update.
Ayan. Okay, so I'm just going to give you an update what's happening in the market today. So I think hopefully we can show my presentation here. All right. Okay. So first of all, most of our clients ask us, we give you different options, fixed, variable, fixed rate, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And then people ask, ano ba yung common na kinukuha ng mga borrowers ninyo dyan sa Karista? And here is a chart that shows you mortgages, kung ano yung kinukuha ng mga tao originally. So yung yellow line po, 5-year fixed. Yung blue line po, variable, and then yung pong gray line is 3 to 4 years fixed, and itong orange po is fixed less than 3 years, so yung 1 or 2 years. Tapos po yung right chart naman po is ano po yung outstanding mortgages right now, anong klase. So basically from this chart nakita mo iba-iba, so I'll give you like a summary. So basically what's happening is yung mga tao ngayon, ang common na kinukuha, variable and short-term mortgages, which is 1 or 2 years, which accounts for 70%. 70% po ng mga kumukuha ng mortgages is mostly variable or 1 to 2 years. And this is considering prime has gone up multiple times. Total mortgages outstanding, yung right na chart, kung ano po ba ang mostly yung outstanding, hindi po yung bago, di ba? Yung outstanding na mortgages. Roughly 43% is fixed, 34% is variable, and then 17% po is 3 to 4 years, and 1 to 2 years po is 7%. So yan po ang kabuuan ng nangyayari po sa mortgages right now. So here is what has been happening sa prime rate. On October 27, the Bank of Canada changed the rate to 5.95%. And what has happened is, so yan na po yung bagong prime rate, right? And these are the rates that this year, ayan po yung changes na rate. So basically, since March, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times na pong tumaas yung interest rate. And a lot of people started ng prime rate was 2.45% from 2.45% naging 5.95%. So that's about a 3.5% increase sa variable rate. So kailan ba ito nangyari in the past? As you can see, this has happened the last time we had nagkaroon po tayo ng really bad economic environment, which was around 2008. Remember po, nagkaroon po tayo ng crisis back then, mortgage meltdown sa US and what have you. Before that, bago nangyari sa 2008, there was already a lot of rumblings. So in October 2004, nasa 4.25, and since that time, pataas ng pataas. And then there was a time na mabilis. Here po siya, 2006, 5.25, 2000, then 5.5. Ang highest po na prime rate na nangyari was until 2007 at 6%. And from that point, ayan, bumaba, way down to 2.25. So yun po yung nangyari historically. Pagka po meron pong crisis, tumataas po ang interest rate, and when the crisis is over, the government adjusts. Bakit po, Bank of Canada's monetary policy report, ano po yung sinabi nila when they increase the rate? Ito po ang sinabi nila, yung tightening phase will draw to a close, but hindi pa, sabi ng government, we're not there yet, and they're trying to balance the risk of under and over tightening. The Bank of Canada's job is to ensure inflation is low, stable, and predictable. So we're still far from that goal. And on a positive note, sabi nila, inflation forecast for the next 3 years, they're thinking na 6.9 ngayong 2022 right now. And they're thinking in 2023 magiging 4.1, and in 2024 maging 2.2. In fact, they slashed GDP growth models to magiging ang growth lang daw po ng economy natin, it's 0.9 in 2023. So that is as close as they could predict na magkakaroon po tayo ng recession. I think we're in the middle of it right now. Sabi po ng Bank of Canada, so a lot of us na nagagalit sa Bank of Canada, anong ginagawa, and some of us may be blaming and resentful, bakit nila ginagawa, and this is why they are doing what they're doing. Sabi nila, if they don't do enough, yung presyo po, dito yung inflation masyado pong tataas. If they don't stop what's happening today, because typically po ang inflation is about 2%. Pag iniwan, kung 2% palagi po ang inflation, it'll take over 30 years for prices to double. But at the current rate na 6.9, it'll take 10 years po magdo-double po. So ibig sabihin, if you pay $5 for bread now, in 10 years magiging $10 if they don't do anything sa inflation. If we do too much daw, we could slow the economy more than needed. And they alam po nila, they acknowledge the harmful consequence ng people's ability to service their debts for their jobs and for their business. So if you think that the government is not concerned, they are very concerned. Kaya sinasabi nga nila, they have to balance between over-tightening and under-tightening. And then he acknowledged further yung burden. There is a burden that's facing Canadian households, particularly those with significant debt loads, but he reiterated that higher rates are necessary in the short term to return to price stability and sustain economic growth. And they don't want this transition to be more difficult than it has to be. In fact, dun sa rate announcement nila, they thought a lot of people were thinking na ang interest rate is going to go up by 0.75%. They kind of moderated it. They chose half a point instead of a bigger change. Attention, Karista clients with variable rate mortgages. Check your inbox because we sent you an email sharing a strategic thinking tool that I think has been quite helpful with a lot of clients because most of the time the answers with what's happening with you right now it's in you, and I gave you that strategic tool. So check your inbox or book a call with one of our mortgage strategy managers and they can go over that with you. Let's work on this together. We're here for you, and I hope this presentation is quite helpful. Yan po ang update sa mortgage rates today. Okay, having said that, Carol.
Thank you for that. See, I was muted. And now next, I'm gonna recommend and I'm asking you na panoorin yung next video natin kasi we're gonna present you our next guest speaker for today.
Melissa has more than 8 years of combined commercial, business, and contract law experience as in-house counsel in manufacturing, health, real estate development, and broadcast communication industries. She's passionate about people, law, and business. Please help me welcome Melissa Briones.
Hi everyone! Hi Bernadette and team. Good to see you. How are you?
Hi.
Great, thank you. Hello. We are so honored to be with you today. Very, very timely and topic, very much needed for our community. So thank you for being with us today, knowing that you are very busy. To all of you who are watching today, we're not paying Melissa to be here. She is doing this as a community service because, like us, she's very committed to educate, to make a difference sa lahat ng ating mga viewers today. So thank you, Melissa, for being with us today.
Thank you, Bernadette. It's really my pleasure to be here. Salamat ulit sa invitation. Okay, I'll go right ahead to this for the discussion, how to buy a house with multiple owners. Okay, discuss ko muna yung state of the world, and Bernadette has given us a glimpse of that. So
Yes.
we
Sorry, Melissa, to disturb you. Mary Ann, hello. Thank you for joining us today. To all of you who are watching, at any point during Melissa's presentation, just type your question. And Melissa has very kindly agreed to pause her presentation to acknowledge your questions because, again, she wants to serve you. So thank you. Thank you. Hello, Mary Ann, and thank you, Melissa. Please go ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. So, diniscuss na ni Bernadette yung state of the world, state of Canada. So, we all know that we are in a period of great uncertainty. Interest rates have risen and will continue to rise. Right now, prime rate sits at 5.95%. There's news that it will continue to go up and that we will be in the state for 18 months. But we have to remember that crisis, which is where we are right now, also mean a crucial point when something begins to change or opportunity. Alam niyo po, when everyone is afraid to act, it is the time to act. And many people have become millionaires because they were bold when they ought to have been scared. And that time is now. Okay. So my name is Melissa Briones. I'm a lawyer at Northern Law Corporation. I practice real estate law, conveyancing, contracts, corporate commercial, wills, and family law. So expertise ko po talaga ang contract law. That's why I'm talking to you about yung tools natin on how we can navigate through these uncertain times. Kasi what do we do? Hindi tayo pwedeng magpatalo sa takot. Hindi tayo pwedeng magpatalo sa situation where Filipinos. We have to go around it. We have to go through it, and with strategic thinking, I believe that it is possible. But I do not advocate heedless or needless spending. Kasi po, ang belief ko po, it is time for strategic thinking, for alliances, for thinking of collaboration instead of competition. And this is what we will be discussing with you right now. Yun nga, how to buy a house with multiple owners.
Ayan. Thank you, Melissa. I just wanted to acknowledge Lisa, Oliver. Sabi niya, hello, good day to you guys watching from the comfort of her living room. Oh, yan ang maganda sa live show eh. Kahit saan kayo sa bahay niyo, you can watch us. Thank you,
That's
Melissa.
Thank you, Bernadette. So, buying a home remains to be a dream for some. So the recent challenges with this policy-driven inflation, yun ang sinasabi about this inflation eh. It's policy-driven, yung inflation sa yung recession. Yes, it's not making things easier. As a matter of fact, it's putting that dream in the realm of parang iniisip natin, imposible na, impossible. Pero there are several ways to skin a cat, so to speak, and several ways we can attain this dream of home ownership. And it could be through several different structures. So yung mga structures po na i-discuss ko in co-ownership agreement, bare trust, deed of gifts, having a guarantor o a co-signer in a guarantee agreement, pwedeng promissory note, pwedeng loan agreement. Pero I will focus on one that's practical and frequently used by several of my clients kasi it's straightforward siya. It can be tailored to what the clients need, and remembering that every client, every family relationship or friend relationship is unique. It's different. So I'm talking about the co-ownership agreement. So I'll dive deeper into this one. Ang bago when people come to me, when clients come to me, and they're thinking about a co-ownership agreement, kasi gusto nilang mag-invest or gusto nilang bumili ng second home or merong gustong bumili ng primary residence, I ask them these questions. Para lang it will put everything into perspective. One, who will use it or live in it? May titira ba? Paparenta ba? Kapatid, asawa, anak, in-laws, apo, sino ang titira doon? Kasi that will spell how the agreement will be arranged or drafted. Number two, will it be a rental property? Because that's a different consideration. Medyo pag rental property, hands-off dahil kumikita yung property ng sarili niya. But what should be done pag kulang yung payment ng rent? Kasi nga, ang taas ng mortgages, tapos yung rent is at a certain level. Baka hindi niya ma-meet yung mortgage obligations. Third, payment of the mortgage, kaninong bank account manggagaling, sino ang maglalagay ng pera sa bank account, how can they be sure na may pondo yung bank account na yon para hindi sila mag-breach ng mortgage. And number four, syempre yung mga considerations, maintenance, repair, restoration cost. So that has to be figured into the agreement. Okay. So, co-ownership agreement. Buying a home with a family member is a tried and tested strategy to buy house number 2, 3, 4. Kasi with several people being qualified, the amount that one person could buy could be increased. So, ang siguro po pwedeng standard na bawat tao pwedeng humiram between 300 to 400,000. Sabihin natin, isa-simplify ko na lang na gano'n.
Yes, yes.
Oo, na pwede silang humiram between 300 to 400. But if people with good credit likewise qualify and they come together, they would multiply that figure 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Yung 400,000 mo, na halos wala nang mabili, siguro makakabili ng 1 bedroom or kaya studio, makakabili na ng, kung ita times 4 mo, 1.6 million na yung mabibili nun. So, very very attractive kasi bigger home, therefore yung potential niya for growth in its value is also bigger and is also there.
Yeah, I like, sorry, but I like what you said. Like, I love that example kasi kung 400,000 condo, tapos versus makakabili ka ng 1.6 na may lupa. I mean, like yung word na ginamit mo is very timely. Yung potential ng appreciation nun, sobrang laki. Kesa bumili ka ng 400, siguro yung 400 mo na condo after 5 years tataasaw ng konti. Pero yung 1.6 mo na may lupa, hundreds and hundreds of thousand yung appreciation. So that was a very good example, Melissa.
So yeah, that's the beauty of coming together and being able to buy a bigger property kasi yung returns nun bigger. So pag dinivide mo siya, mas marami yung share ng bawat isa. Okay. Of course, we've also heard of horror stories where relationships turn sour and sometimes friends or family members break up. Meron ako like client na 1% yung pag-aari ng friend niya, hindi namin makita yung friend. Ayaw pumirma. Kasi nga, walang ganito, walang co-ownership agreement. So therefore, merong difficulty on exiting that relationship. And this is where the lawyer would come in. Not at that point na maglilitigation na, pero preferably at the beginning where or when the mortgage is being set up or when the property is being purchased or naghahanap na kayo, ay ano kaya ang 1.6 ang pwede nating mabili? Or baka pwede tayong bumili ng 2 bahay sa 1.6 million. 800,000 ang townhouse, 800 isa pang, or pwedeng 3 pa, 400,000 na condo. So ang ganda ng ang ganda ng possibility if you pull all your resources together. Pero yun nga, para hindi magkaroon ng problema along the way kasi it's a possibility. Kasi we're people, we change, our circumstances change, and therefore, kailangan merong nakalagay na procedure on how we would tackle it when that time, if and when that time comes. And that's when the co-ownership agreements come in. There are several things to consider when buying a property, katulad nga nung sinabi ko kanina. At saka yung mga disputes, yung problema may be avoided or mitigated pag nag-enter sila dito sa tinatawag ko na co-ownership agreement, or merong iba na sinasabi, tinatawag siya na expense sharing agreement eh. It can provide for a lot of things. It can be simple, it can be complex. Kung ano man ang relationship nyo, yun ang gagawin natin. So ano yung mga kailangan nating i-discuss? Nature of the co-ownership interest, which may affect the decision as to how property is sold and how proceeds are divided. I have clients that cannot come up with the same deposit, let's say, or down payment. Yung isa, afford lang niya 50,000, yung isa 5,000, yung isa 10,000, yung isa 100,000. So, minsan, tinitingnan ko yung capacity. That's one. Number two, tinitingnan ko how the mortgage is set up. That's two. And third, tinitingnan kung paano isa-set up yung title. Kasi yung title, yun yung parang on its face will govern how the property will be divided. So sabihin natin katulad ng sa example ko, iba-iba yung deposit nila. Ano ba yung co-ownership interest? So pwedeng i-divide yung property into four. Yung nagbigay ng 150, 50, 50 siguro. Sabihin natin. So apat sila, isa nagbigay ng 100,000, yung tatlo nagbigay ng tig 50,000 for a 250,000 down payment for a $1 million home. So yung nagbigay ng 100,000, syempre bigger yung share niya. Tapos yung nagbigay ng tig 50,000, syempre lesser yung share niya. So times 2 yung share ng 100,000. So pwedeng either 50% siya and then the rest of it, dividing 50% by 3. In which case, math ito, 18 ba? Mga ganon. Around 17-18% ang ownership ng iba. Pero sasabihin sa akin, meron pong isang titira dyan. Dapat po mas malaki yung share. So, uupuan namin. Titingnan namin yung pinaka-fair kasi that's really what the lawyer is there for. To make the agreement that would be mutually beneficial for everyone. So, fairness yung ang standard natin. And really it will really mirror what the relationship is. So, ganun yung gagawin natin. Tapos, lalagyan din natin ng provision on dispute resolution. Uupuan ba? Good faith ba? Mag-uusap ba? Pupunta ba sa mediator? Pupunta ba sa board? Ano bang gagawin? Tapos, meron ding pag-uusapan din namin yung right of first refusal. Pag gusto nang mag-out ng isa, ano ang gagawin niya? Bibenta ba niya sa third party? Hindi. Gagawin niya, i-offer niya yung share niya sa other co-owners. And if the other co-owners say no, then pwedeng lumabas, humanap ng third party na bibili ng share niya. Or pwede ring pag-usapan nila na ay ibenta na natin. Or kaya may isa na, ay hindi, I'll buy all of your shares. So this co-ownership agreement would spell out kung anong mangyayari, kung paano ibibigay yung notice, kung paano i-compute lahat ng down payment at kung paano ibabalik, at kung paano i-divide ang proceeds. Meron ding number 4, transfer of rights without the consent of others. For example, may co-owner na namatay. Anong mangyayari? Yung share ba niya mapupunta sa heirs niya? Yung share ba niya mapupunta sa kapwa niya co-owners? Meron bang insurance na magko-cover wherein yung insurance can buy all of the shares of the other co-owners? Tapos, sa pag-uusapan din, yung process of the sale of the property. Like, ano ba, mag-uusap lang ba tayo kung magkano natin ibibenta yung property? O tingnan na lang ba natin yung comparatives o yung comparables? Ano ba ang fair market value? Or kukuha ba tayo ng real estate appraiser para mag-decide kung magkano natin ibibenta yung property? Meron ding number 6, circumstances in which one party may be forced out of the co-ownership agreement. Anong ibig sabihin nun? For example, bumili kayo ng strata, merong repair sa bubong, 100,000 ang kailangang i-shell out nyo. What happens then? Sabihin natin, yung isa, ano siya, tight siya ngayon, hindi siya makapagbigay. So what's gonna happen with that? Usually, ang solution is yung share niya, i-reduce to 90% of its value para ma-buy out siya ng iba. But again, itong mga agreements kasi na to, it's very flexible, it's flowing. Kung ano yung comfort level ng bawat isa, doon, yun yung how we will draft the agreement. At hindi ako titigil as the lawyer until I get to the point where everything is acceptable to everyone. Kasi ano, ito na yun eh. Ito yung this is what will spell out the relationship. And therefore, parang ang promise doon is you will follow that agreement. So kailangan talaga everyone will buy into that agreement and everyone will agree to that agreement. Tapos meron ding consideration, yung number 7, use or access to all or part of the property. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Pumili kayo ng vacation home. Okay, sino ang pwedeng nandoon ng Christmas? Sino ang pwedeng nandoon ng summer? Kamag-anak ba, Nino? Pwede ba silang papatirahin doon or parentahin yon? Yun yung mga other considerations when buying a vacation or other property na wala namang long-term tenant, or pag Airbnb ba, paano pag gusto kong, for example, bumili ako ng Airbnb sa malapit sa ano yung falls sa Toronto? Sheila, saan kayo nagpunta?
Niagara Falls.
Niagara. Sabihin natin, pumunta kayo meron kayong condo sa Niagara Falls. Tapos, ay, gusto ko nandun ako ng summer. Sabihin sa'yo ng co-owners mo, no, sorry, masyadong mataas ang rental, ang maraming gusto mag-renta at that time. So, hindi pwede. Yan, yung mga yan. Tapos, meron ding who decides on and pays for the improvement, repairs, furnishing, and maintenance. Kasi yan yung mga iisipin yan yung mga cost na parang pagbago, walang problema. Pero minsan problema rin. Pag luma, yan, medyo andyan na, lalabas na, parang sinong mag-furnish, kailangan merong funds na nakaset aside for that. Tapos pag nag-call ng new investment or new funds to come in, ready ba kayo? Yun yung mga consideration. Tapos meron syempre operating expenses, legal fees, property transfer tax, annual property taxes, property insurance, strata maintenance, extraordinary fees, electricity, cable, and internet, normal wear and tear. So, kailangan i-consider lahat yan, how the property will be maintained, cleaning services ba? Kasi magagalit yung isa pag siya yung naglinis. Yung mga ganon. O kaya, hindi naman tayo pare-pareho ng standard of cleanliness. Ano bang gagawin natin? Kung investment property, cleaning services, para wala nang... Ang hirap kasi yung nagiging sour yung relationship kasi one party feels that she is doing more than the other. So that's what we're trying to avoid with this co-ownership agreement. Kasi dapat, sa totoo lang, this is a way really to increase wealth. Pero kailangan matapang. Matapang ka, tapos talagang committed. Kasi an investment is an investment. Parang eye on the goal. Ano ba, gusto ba namin kumita ng 500,000 in the future divided by the four of us, which is really a wonderful incentive to get into this type of ownership. Tapos ang pinakasimple, pa-rent out. If rented, how will the revenue be distributed? So bigyan ko kayo ng mga scenarios, no, like dun pa sa ibang agreement that my clients have done. Yung co-ownership agreement nga, ang procedure noon, upuan ko, mag-uusap kami, ano bang plano nyo. Most of the time kasi yung mga clients, they already know what they want. They already know what they want to happen. Meron na silang they have figured it out themselves. Sabihin nila sa akin, ang gagawin ko, bibigyan ko sila ng legal advice. Bibigyan ko sila ng options. Kasi minsan hindi clear yung mga options sa kanila. Na, pwede pala yun. Pwede pala yun. Pwede palang tayo, hindi tayo joint tenants, but tenants in common. So, one will have 50%, tapos sila mag-asawa, joint owner sila. Tapos, yung iba, 25% lang, in common. Ang difference ng joint tenancy sa tenants in common, joint tenancy, the property will roll over to the joint owner, and therefore, the land title office will just request for the death certificate bago ma-transfer dun sa joint owner. Yung tenants in common naman, bababa yon sa estate nung namatay, and it will be distributed in accordance with the will, with the heirs. Okay. So, yun yung co-ownership agreement. Yung Bear Trust, a form rin siya of multiple ownership kasi yung Bear Trust may nakatago. For one reason or another, yung tinatawag na beneficial owner does not appear on title. Now, why do people do it? One, if they have a primary residence and gusto nila na bumili sila ng investment property, gusto nila na hindi sila at risk for paying capital gains taxes. Kasi pag second property mo na, wala ka ng exemption ng principal residence. And therefore, kailangan mo na magbayad um, ng capital gains taxes pag dinespose yung property. Yun yung isa, Bear Trust. Pangalawa, nag-estate planning, pero for example, may magulang, siya talaga yung owner kasi siya nagbigay ng down payment, siya nagbabayad ng mortgage, pero hindi siya yung nakalagay sa title kasi ang balak niya at sasabihin niya yun sa akin, pupunitin niya yung Bear Trust para ang talagang owner ay yung anak na lang niya. So, kasi minsan yung mga magulang, turuan ko na kayo ng strategy. Yung mga magulang, gusto nila na maging responsable pa rin yung mga anak nila. They don't want to give windfalls or inheritances ng ganon-ganon. Gusto nila na parang wag sila i-take advantage or wag i-take advantage yung situation. And therefore, sinasabi nila na, oy, utang mo yan sa akin. Babayaran mo yan dapat. Gagawa kami ng Bear Trust. Pero sa totoo lang, sinasabi nila sa akin, ay, wala akong intention talaga na kuhanan yung property na yan from my children. The third one, na madalas na ginagawa yung deed of gift. For example, merong equity sa home, pero yun yung ginagamit na pang down payment again ng anak. So again, pag inisip mo yan, multiple owners yan eh. That's how to fund the purchase. Pero ang ano nito, ang deed of gift naman, yun yung gift and therefore walang consideration. And therefore, wala na silang habol doon sa binigay nila na gift sa mga anak nila. And typically, pag may deed of gift, kailangan ng independent legal advice. So that's where also the lawyer comes in to make sure na walang force, walang pangloloko na ginagawa yung, for example, anak sa magulang or hindi sila na-force into doing something that they don't really want to do. So again, that's another way. Number 4, guarantor, co-signer in a guarantee agreement. Meron tayong mga situation na sabihin natin mag-asawa tapos merong isang guarantor. For some reason, yung mga lender, minsan okay lang ang guarantor, minsan ayaw nila, minsan kailangan nakalagay sa title. Meron akong client na siya yung guarantor sa anak niya, so he had to obtain independent legal advice. Ang ibig sabihin kasi ng guarantor, pag hindi nakabayad yung may utang na nakapangalan dun sa mortgage, pwedeng kolektahin yung 100% ng payment doon sa guarantor mismo. So talagang malaki yung malaki yung pananagutan. Kaya kailangan ng ILA. Iba naman promissory note kasi utang talaga siya. Promissory note, hindi nakalagay sa title, pero lower interest rate, 5% to 10%. And then yung iba, medyo complex na loan agreement. Magbibigay sila ng funds, but it's a loan. And then they have something called a Form B mortgage signed na hindi ifa-file kasi second mortgage or third mortgage na yon. Pero pag nag-breach, doon ifa-file yung loan agreement. Question lang, meron questions at this time?
Well, wala pa silang questions. I think they're taking a lot of notes because there's a lot here.
A lot of information.
So it's so good actually though. It's so good.
Thank you so much. So feel free to ask your questions. So yan yung mga ways and strategies on how we can all join together and ride this crisis, because that's really what we need to do right now. We have to be creative with our solutions. Kasi sayang ang opportunity. Palaging hindsight is 2020. Parang shocks, dapat nag-invest na ako nung 2011, nung pagdating ko sa Canada. Houses were at 400,000 then. Who would have thought, 'di
I
ba?
know, right?
Yun na ngayon. So, yun, ito yun eh. Ito yung time na yun eh. So, ito yung time na babalikan mo na, ay, bakit hindi ko ginawa? Anyway. So, ito. Ang susunod ko naman na topic is the upcoming changes to the Property Law Act to make the Home Buyer Rescission Period. Ano ba yun? Ano ba yung HBRP? It will come into law January 1, 2023. Cooling off period yan. Ano yan? It's a form of consumer protection. So they have everyone, well, the provincial government has consulted with several home buyers kasi yung kainitan nung bidding, I think it was February, March, April of this year. Yung subject free na yung mga offer, tapos ang taas-taas ng mga bid, and there was no way for the buyers to take a step back and sabihin, ay, sorry, I'm changing my mind. So, ito yon. Medyo, pag inisip natin ngayon, hindi na masyadong applicable kasi puro na subjects na yung mga ngayon, mga purchases dahil nga mataas ang interest rates, mababa ang mga presyo. And nandito tayo sa bear market ba tawag dito? Oo, bear market. Ah, kung saan nagwo-wait and see yung mga tao. But anyway, para lang in the future kasi cyclical eh. We know that everything is cyclical. Babalik tayo sa high, babalik tayo sa low. So habang nasa low tayo, ano gagawin natin? We have to prepare. So ito 'yon. Ito yung HBRP is something that your realtors should discuss with you. Kasi this is one of their obligations to you. Kailangan nilang i-explain na merong cooling off period. Ano ba yung cooling off period? It is 3 business days from the date of acceptance of a purchase. Yun nga, it is contingent, sabay yan eh. Sabay yung subject free, subject removal, saka subject, itong tinatawag na cooling off period, yung 3-day rescission period. So it doesn't mean na wala ng subjects. It just means that this will also take into effect just in case hindi na protektahan yung purchaser from the purchase. So ito yung due diligence period. Pwede silang mag-back out pero may payment ng rescission fee. Ang rescission fee is 0.25% of the purchase price. So what's 0.25%? It is $250 every $100,000. So $100,000. So sabihin natin 400,000 yung binibili. Ang rescission fee mo if you exercise it within the 3 business day period would be $1,000. So diretso 'yon sa seller kasi syempre yung seller ikaw ang pinili, nag-spend siya ng time with you, nag-back and forth kayo, then meron siyang expectation na bibilin mo na. So para siyang, it operates as a penalty and as a recompense to the seller para yung time naman niya hindi naman na waste. So pag merong deposit, tatanggalin yun sa deposit, i-release kagad yun sa seller, at yung the rest of the deposit will be released to the buyer, yung balance. Ano yan eh, ibang-iba yan sa rules dun sa contract of purchase and sale. Kasi doon, kailangan yung deposit, iaano muna sa court, ipopost muna sa Supreme Court, tas yung court yung magde-decide kung kailan ma-release at kung magkano yung ibabawas. So how is it done? It's done by notice, by written notice to the seller, within that 3 business day period, tapos sasabihin kung ano yung property information, ano yung address, ano yung PID, ano yung kung kailan na-accept. And we have to remember that the rescission fee moves with the purchase price. Kasi di ba pag nag-offer tayo, nag-offer ka ng, sabihin natin sale price 1.5, nag-offer ka ng 1.1, sabihin sa'yo ni seller, ay hindi, 1.4. Sabihin mo 1.3, sabihin sa'yo ni seller 1.375. So, yung rescission fee doon, nag-move. So, magiging rescission fee na niya will be based on the final final accepted purchase price. So yeah, that's it on that. You do have the government is really thinking about the purchasers and also the sellers, recognizing the fact that sometimes the heat of the moment or the emotions can take over, and we can't think clearly. So the provincial government is giving us a way out on how to get out of those commitments na wala naman talagang ganong grabbing repercussions. Pero it puts a little bit of uncertainty into the transaction. Yun nga lang, may time period naman siya, 3 business days. Business days meaning hindi kinakaunting weekend. So yeah, that's another one of the tools that we can use to make sure that we are making the best of the most important decision, financial decision of our lives. That's it. Thank you. If you have any questions.
Ayan, ayan, ayan. Thank you so much for that presentation. And I think, yeah, thank you, Melissa. Yan po yung kanyang contact if you have any questions for her. Before we ask Sheila has something to say. Before that, though, team, do you have any questions from what you heard today from Melissa? Meron kayong tanong?
Yeah, I just want to clear din kasi sometimes yung bare trust attorney, tama ba? Para kang silent partner pag naka-bare trust ka.
Correct.
Kasi
Actually,
some of our
ikaw
clients.
talaga yung owner.
Mhm.
Ikaw talaga yung owner pero nakatago ka lang. But
Mhm.
we have to remember meron ng bare trust registration na requirement sila ng title office. Kasi hidden ownership yan eh. So they wanna know who actually owns these properties. So pero dahil hidden ownership siya, um, marami pa ring nag-o-opt na hindi mag-register
Oh.
until the end. Pero ano kasi, hindi kasi alam yung consequence.
Mm.
San, like, yung naka-bare trust, foreign buyer pala siya. So, paano
Mm.
yun? Retroactive ba? Mapipenalize ba siya? Dahil foreign
Mm.
buyer siya na nakatago? Pero walang sinasabi yung law eh. I think what they're doing is data gathering.
Yes.
They're gathering more information para they know, they can close the loop.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
what's
So
Ayan.
happening.
before talaga sila pumasok, they have to talk to an expert lawyer.
Yeah,
Lawyer
Like
talaga.
Attorney Melissa, oo. So yun siya, everyone.
I like that question, Sheila, kasi baka ang kala ng mga tao, you
Mm.
can just maggagawa ka lang ng kasulatan on the side.
Mm.
You have to make sure you protect yourself. And we have a question here. Rachel, you want to read the question, please?
Yes, this is from Ling Chris. If a single person bought a property, then my boyfriend and tumira and nag-live-in sila, magiging conjugal na po yan. Paano po ba ang ownership?
Oh, that's a good one.
Really.
Hi, Lynn, Chris. Thank you for the question. Yung conjugal or common law, being a common law spouse, meron yung time period. If you have been living in a marriage-like relationship for a period of at least 2 years, then yes, there is a common law relationship. So it's factual. So anong mangyayari pag nag-live-in kayo together and merong property, sabihin natin sa wife, ay well, dun sa babae. Tapos tumira yung boyfriend, lumampas ng 2 years, naghiwalay sila, what's going to happen? Yes, the property becomes common law property, and therefore, the boyfriend has an entitlement of at least 50% of the increase in the value of that property. So sabihin natin, yung property is 1 million. Nag-live-in kayo 1.2, naghiwalay kayo 1.5. So may increase in the value of 300,000. So meron na siyang share dun sa 300,000, which is 50%. Therefore, ang sinasabi ko sa mga client ko, enter into a prenuptial or a cohabitation agreement because the problem and the fear is real. What the cohabitation agreement will say is that the boyfriend has no interest in that property, meaning i-waive niya yung right niya dun sa increase in the value of the property. So Importante yan. Lalo na yung mga clients natin na may mga anak na binibili sila ng magulang ng bahay.
Mhm.
Pinapasabihin ko agad, yung anak nyo, pag nagkaroon yan ng common law, spouse o ng asawa, meron ng entitlement yung asawa dun po sa bahay. Baka po gusto na pwede po silang mag-prenup. Depende po kasi. Pero sinasabi ko rin, minawarn ko na deal breaker yan. Kasi syempre, pag sinabi na prenup, parang ang greedy mo naman.
Hmm.
So, sabi ko, just be gentle when you introduce that topic. If they are both, I guess, if they love each other, then therefore they're fine with it. Kasi meron din naman ako mga clients na magpapaprenup, pero sinasabi nila sa akin, pupunitin nila. Yeah, but at least it's out there. You kind of test the love in the relationship, but if that has to happen, you have to protect yourself. Kasi minsan yung mga ganito, meron din silang mga sariling anak eh. Um, may mga sariling anak, therefore kailangan nilang i-protect yung inheritance ng mga anak nila. And that can only be done with these agreements. Hindi mo kasi matatrust. Baka kasi walang pera in the future o kaya go into dire straits, edi magiging greedy na and therefore you're going to have a problem. It's a real problem.
Well, Lynn, Chris, this is a very wonderful question because I've had
Mm.
a lot of clients ask me this question, and I love the legal solution that Melissa provided. Sabi ni Philip De Los Santos here, so much information, very educational. Salamat po, Attorney Melissa. And then from Mary Ann, that's true, better to have a prenup. So going back to Melissa's solution there, I think yung mga parents, we're all for it, especially kung gusto natin, because most of our clients, to be perfectly honest, yung most of our investors, kaya sila bumibili ng pangalawa, pangatlo, pang-apat na property, it's really for their children. As we know, a lot of the parents, okay na sila. And then, yun nga, kung meron silang anak and they want to do that, please take that into consideration. Kasi it's better to protect yourself. Wow. Okay.
Parang unintentional naging multiple ownership, 'di ba?
Mm.
No.
Ayan. So, yun.
Nagulantang ako dun, ah.
Ako din. I
Yeah,
didn't know na gano'n.
the problem is real and that's why kailangan.
2
Dapat
years, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Carol and Rachel, do you have any other questions for Attorney Melissa?
Yes, I had one, attorney. Yung rescission fee, is it true that you pay that only if you don't proceed with the property within 3 days?
That's right. Usually at that point wala pang down payment or wala pang deposit kasi yung deposit binibigay pag subject removal. So this meron kasing yung mga hot months natin, nagbibigay na kagad sila ng deposit right there and then upon the offer. So the rescission fee will be taken out of that. And then yung balance ibibigay doon sa purchaser. But yeah, that's the only time that it becomes payable.
So, follow-up question doon, attorney. So, ano naman yung kasiguraduhan ng seller kung walang deposit na ibinigay na makukuha nila yung fee kung hindi tumuloy yung buyer?
Mm-mm.
Halimbawa ako, 'di ba? Ako yung seller, tapos si Rachel yung buyer ko. Wala akong pinangahawakang pera pero hindi niya itinuloy. So, anong kasiguraduhan ko na may marireceive talaga ako kay Rachel? Is it stipulated in the contract?
Maraming gaps yung law.
Mm.
Tinatanong rin nila how it will be enforced. Kasi
Yeah.
nga alam natin na wala pang deposit at that period, at that time. So paano, di ba? Paano mo hahabulin? But I guess it becomes enforceable dahil law na siya. So
Mm.
everyone will have to comply with it. As long as nakalagay, nasabi ng realtor dun sa purchaser niya na it cannot be waived, it cannot be waived eh. Bawal siya i-waive
Wow.
or
Okay.
dapat pero hindi siya applicable, hindi siya applicable sa mga assignment, yung mga new development kasi yung mga new development, yung mga ang tawag dito, mga bagong properties, um, meron yang 7-day rescission period, 'di ba? So hindi
Mm.
na nag-apply itong HBRP
RP.
RP.
dun sa
Okay.
transaction.
Wow.
Mhm.
It sounds like more legal
Oo,
nightmare
yes.
for
Yeah.
to in,
Kailangan meron silang interpreting rules and regulations, IRR, para to further explain how this can be
Mhm.
executed.
Mm.
Mahirap
Yeah,
i-execute yun.
yeah, that sounds like a merong additional addendum or whatever na
Oo.
i-add sa contract. Wow. Okay, well,
Mm.
I think it was meant, ang intention is really good. Yung execution is going to be very, very interesting. And we have a comment here. Carol, can you please read a couple of comments? One from Lisa here.
As for Ate Lisa Oliver, wow, everything, wow, very interesting topic. Thank you, Attorney and Karista Mortgage. Too bad I have to log out. I'm going to work and stay safe, guys. Take care.
Thank you,
Don't
Ate.
worry, you can play it po, Ate, later. Yun yung
Yeah.
maganda sa Karista Live. We're not gonna delete it. And the other is, I've learned a lot po. Thank you so much.
Ayan. Okay. Thank you doon sa mga comment. And then since walang question, Sheila.
So, sa lahat ng nanonood po, please follow us in the social media. Sabi nga ni Carol kanina, you can watch the replay. Meron po kami YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. So, you can just follow us on all platform para po makahabol kayo sa mga topic na talagang mainit na mainit sa ngayon and matuto kayo sa lahat ng ipiniresent at i-discuss sa atin ni Attorney Melissa kanina. Also, we would like to give you a gift. We have a new Karista website. We are also excited kasi this website talagang pinaghandaan, pinaganda para po sa inyo. Ito po ang gift namin na kung meron kayong mga topic, questions na gusto nyo pong malaman ng kasagutan, please take a pic, visit our website, and I'm assured makakakuha po kayo ng knowledge, learnings, and at the same time, makakausap niyo po kami. Marami pong salamat.
Ayan. But before we go to our takeaway, Attorney, merong pong additional question here. Biglang nagkaroon ng dalawang question kasi magbababay na tayo. Carol, can you please read the question here?
First would be the co-ownership agreement be a requirement for mortgage approval too?
Short
No.
answer, no. Mhm. Oo.
Yeah, go ahead, Attorney.
Yeah, tinatanong ako kung kailan nila pipirmahan. Sa akin, dapat before closing, para kasi pag after closing, baka mag-iba yung mga minds, nakakommit na kayo sa mortgage. So, kailangan ayusin natin. Tapos pipirmahan natin yun at the time when we sign the documents. That's
Yes.
pinaka.
So as a for us as when we approve the mortgage, we are labas kami doon, if that makes sense. All we are ang sa amin is we give you advice now. Make sure you get independent legal advice. And kung ano man po yung resulta nun, we are really not privy to that. If you come to us and say, ito yung ating agreement, what do you think? What do you think will Bernadette say? What does the lawyer think? Kasi nga sabi ni Attorney Melissa is there's 11 points there and that you guys need to go deep, and by the time na nagawa niyo yung agreement na yun, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of discussions already, and I trust that you addressed all the things that you needed to address to make that effective, to make that collaborative, make that a win-win for everybody. Yun yung word na ginamit ni attorney, win-win talaga para sa lahat, talagang i-customize eh. So that's the important part about that. Rachelle, the next question, please.
All right. Follow-up from Chris. Meron po bang living trust kung gusto mong ipamana ang property sa kids without paying property gains tax when you die unexpectedly?
Merong mga tinatawag na family trust. So it's a special kind of species na ginagawa pag sobrang yaman ng mga parents. Parang fini-freeze yung value ng property and then tina-transfer at the time of death. Meron din tinatawag na spousal trust. Pero for this, kailangan talaga to consult para yung particular situation nyo masagot ng lawyer. Kasi yung trust, kasi you have to file taxes every year.
Yes.
So parang hindi lang siya simple na gagawa kasi gusto natin wag mag-pay ng capital gains tax. Meron siyang mga obligations, tas meron siyang financial considerations. Hindi siya simple. Pati yung pag-setup hindi simple saka mahal, hindi siya mura. So therefore, yan pag-uusapan niya ng lawyer. Kung yun ba talaga yung best vehicle to transfer wealth. Kasi pwede rin niya rin namang lagay as joint owner yung anak niya sa property. Roll over na lang. Edi, mas ano pa, wala pa nga. Yun nga lang, meron din mga dangers yun. Baka may utang sa CRA yung anak nyo and therefore magkaroon ng lien yung property dilagot. Yan, merong asawa, tapos maglagay ng spousal lien kasi nagde-divorce. Ang dami-daming pwedeng situation. Walang one size fits all. So it's really better if you can consult and we can answer your questions.
Si Lynn Chris, magaganda yung mga tanong eh, no? So tama po yung na-mention ni Attorney Melissa when you talk, so because as me and my husband, we talk to a lawyer, hindi kami sinabihan na it's not yet time. There's a certain point, kasi nga, they have to, katulad na sinabi ni Attorney Melissa, if i-freeze yung value ng asset, and if you're going to live for a longer period of time, there's only a certain time, number of years you can do that. So if you do it too early, then you have to do it many more, and it's going to cost you more money each time. So there's just a lot of layers, kaya dapat po kausap niyo yung lawyer. And just so you know, tama po si Attorney Melissa, if you are giving your equity sa anak and either of you have lived in a property for a certain period of time, walang property gains tax. That's right, attorney? Kung owner occupied.
Oo, basta principal residence.
Basta principal residence, pero kapag rental property wala tayong kawala. Pero pag principal residence, then you can save on that one. So again, magandang kausap yung lawyer kasi they have to factor in yung value ng property, yung age ng anak. There's so many layers. Kasi sa lawyer, they'll just not think of present. Yun ang maganda sa lawyer. They're so smart. And, oh my gosh, I don't know how you guys do that. Not only will they think of today, they'll also think of future scenarios. And meron na silang contingency sa risk na yun. May contingency dun sa risk na yun. May contingency sa risk na yun. Oh my God, how do we even talk about that stuff? So yeah. So thank you, Lynn. And I hope that answers that question. And Ricardo here says, thank you, Team Karista and Attorney Melissa. Oh, you're very, very welcome, Ricardo. It's a great service here. And marami kaming natutunan. And this is the best time for me to ask yung inyong mga takeaway. We'll start with Carol. Carol, your takeaway, please.
Oh my gosh, ang dami.
All right?
Yeah. So first is, I love what Attorney Melissa na sinabi niya is, if there's a crisis, there's always an opportunity that you'll see. So, and then, doon sa presentations niya, I love yung sinabi mo, Attorney, yung co-ownership agreement. So, like we've mentioned, diba, in crisis right now, hindi kayo qualified to purchase property and ang daming pwede mag-combine ng income, magkakaibigan to just like, be qualified and take advantage of the market na mababang mo mabibili yung property. So, ownership agreement is one of those, and knowing what's the HBRP rules right now. So, it's a really good one. And the other is, yung pa-bonus mo, the prenup. That one is a very good one that I love, that you were able to discuss to us.
Yeah. Thank you, Carol. Okay, Sheila.
Katulad ng sinabi ni Carol, there's a lot that I've learned on this discussion. Attorney, thank you for all that information. Pero ang pinaka gusto ko when you said about what is the state of the world right now, na tulad ng sinabi ni Carol, in every crisis there's an opportunity. Every breakdown there's a breakthrough, and we're Filipinos. Yun yung pinaka maganda. With our strategic thinking and collaboration, sabi mo nga kanina, madali nating malulusutan yung ating mga challenges. Init na kasi sa atin yung bayanihan during crisis. So, there's a lot of opportunity na katulad na sinabi ni Carol, wag kayong ma-stuck tulad sa hindi kayo makakabili ng bahay or mag-stop kayo being a tenant. Please, make it a point, hanapin nyo yung opportunity, hanapin nyo yung breakthrough sa situation nyo. Nandito mga expert, broker, lawyer, kami mga mortgage strategy manager to help you. Napakaganda ng sinabi kanina ni attorney na even the government, yung HBRP na yan is helping us for us na magkaroon tayo ng, alam mo yon, fairness and protection. So please, action is all yours, guys. So thank you, attorney.
Thank you. Rachel.
Yung biggest takeaway ko, thank you, attorney. I learned a lot today. Yung biggest takeaway ko, like everyone has said, is the opportunity and the crisis. But I didn't know na when you are going into all these agreements, there's a lot of relationship, a lot of emotion, a lot of that going on, and I'm grateful to know that there's a lot of laws put in place so that we can strategize the best way to move forward sa mga investments. So, thankful po ako kasi protected po yung mga buyers. So yun siya. And with that said, we also have our first time home buyer webinar coming up. So all of you first time home buyers, invite your friends, invite your family who haven't been able to purchase your home yet. We have the link over here in our description box para matuto din po kayo kung paano mag-get started sa pagbili ng first property niyo po dito po sa Canada.
Ayan. Okay. So before we give the mic back to Attorney Melissa for her closing remarks here, ang sa akin, there's a lot of conversations of bayanihan, nagtutulungan. Di ba sa bayanihan, you see a lot of hands under the house. So same thing, sama-sama tayo, we put hands together to purchase a home, because what's the alternative? Instead of reaching up, you hide, you go on the side. For how long? Because I guarantee you it's not going to get better over time. It's just because with either the rise in interest rates or the banks getting tougher, hindi naman na after 5 years you get approved more. My gosh, I remember 20 years ago, if you have a pulse, you can get a house. You come to my office, because I've been doing this for 20 years, I can get you a house. It was so easy. And in the last 20 years, it hasn't been easier. It's been harder and harder and harder. So lumiliit yung capacity. So things like this is very advantageous. The one thing that talagang magandang takeaway dun sa pinresent ni attorney, if you guys are going to watch this, please take a picture of those 11 things that you have to take into consideration when you're purchasing a property. And because there's a lot of details there, and mas magandang pag-usapan yun. If you all have said here na there's a lot, mas magandang pag-usapan yun at the front. Kasi it's the honeymoon period. Everything is rosy. Everybody is excited. So when you're excited, your brain, your heart, your spirit has more capacity to take in all of that information. Mas, sabi ni Attorney Melissa, hindi kami titigil hanggat hindi acceptable sa lahat. You are more acceptable, you are more open, you are more caring when you're excited. Pag nag-aaway na kayo, lahat ng offer ni Attorney Melissa, you will think it's for the benefit of the other person. Kahit hindi. So, hindi ka mamimigay, hindi ka magiging open. Yung brain mo very, very close because you're more protective. So again, I love the fact that she shared those 11 points now and welcome them with open arms and sit down with your partners and Attorney Melissa, because those are in place for you to protect you, to take care of you and your family. And then yung prenup, mas magandang i-offer sa boyfriend, sa girlfriend, sa una. In love pa eh. you can offer the prenup when they're so in love. But pag medyo they've started living together and it's been like 6 months and you try to present that, good luck. Kasi meron ng medyo konting, siguro kaya mo pinapresent yan, siguro kasi nung nag-awit ng isang araw, siguro may naisip ka, nahihiwalayin mo ako. So, the moral lesson from all of this is if you are going to create an agreement that's a win-win, do it in the very beginning versus the end. So yun po yung aking biggest takeaway from today. And before we end, Melissa, Attorney Melissa, is there anything you want to share sa ating pong mga nanonood today?
No, thank you. Thank you very much again for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to be with the Karista team. Love you all. And thank you for this platform. And ano, I just always look at the history. Talagang yung lessons of history, marami yang ituturo sa atin. And what it has always shown that during periods of crisis talaga, magsisisi ka pag hindi mo grab yung opportunity. Kasi parang, pero takot ka ngayon eh. Pag takot ka kasi, dun ka kailangan mag-act. That's really my
Yes.
belief. And of course, it's with a lot of prayer and with a lot of strategic thinking. Hindi naman pwedeng nakapikit ka and then you go through it. You have to, of course, account for a lot of things, for your finances, for your comfort level. Pero sa akin, i-move mo lang yung cheese mo ng konti. I-move mo lang yung comfort level mo ng konti. And then, baka ito na yung dream mo of wealth. That's it.
There
Thanks.
you go. Well, thank you, Attorney Melissa. So for every risk you're gonna take, that the bigger the reward. And may nagsabi, I don't know who it was, sabi nila, was never ever waste a crisis. So this is it. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jean and Elvin. Thank you, Lynn Chris. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Ricardo. Lahat po nanonood. Mary Grace Valencia said, beautiful team watching from Victoria. Thank you po, Jane, and everyone here, Lisa, Marianne, Philip, to all your comments here for us, and thank you for being with us. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and hopefully we'll see you again next time. We'll see you also sa ating first time home buyer webinar. Para po sa mga nagre-rent dyan, please don't waste a great crisis, and there's a lot of information here which Melissa showed you, the opportunity that you can take advantage of. Bye everybody. Thank you, attorney. We'll see you
Good
again.
morning.